Welcome to episode 10 of Chinese Horror Movies Explained. In a country where horror movies are heavily regulated and censored, filmmakers need to find clever ways to get around these regulations. And in this series, we explore how they did it. If you like this and are interested in seeing more, please remember to like and subscribe. And if you know of a Chinese horror movie you want us to look at, leave a comment below. And an obvious warning, but this is pretty much a spoiler-filled video. Watch at your own peril. We're going back to 2017 to check out Haunted Cinema 2, directed by China's version of Quentin Tarantino, Shilei Lu. I'm kidding, he's more like Ed Wood. And because by now we know he recycles his cast, this movie contains some cast members from Ghost in Barbers, in beautiful scream queen Abby Lin in her last horror movie, awesome Qingan, and Shilei Lu, as well as Jai Hao Song. While Douban might not agree with me, with a remarkable 92% of viewers giving this movie 1 star, I'm going to buck that trend by siding with online video streaming site iQIYI's user score of 9.6. That's high for a Chinese horror movie, but I think it's justified. This film is actually so much fun because the plot is fun. In summary, a young woman, Xiao Xing, hosts a horror movie marathon on behalf of a secret organizer in a cinema her father's construction company has just completed. She assembles 7 other people to join her for a total of 8 people. To convince them to join her, she's going to pay them a few thousand RMB. But when you consider she's probably going to show them bad Film Moon Chinese horror movies, it's a wise choice to pay them. Yes, my friend, welcome to another Film Moon movie. The production house that's perfected rubber masks, flying ghosts, and face-off reveals delivers with this entertaining, if still pretty stupid movie. And since it's directed by Shilei Lu, we know there's also going to have the recycled music and locations. This particular location in the clip is from the Haunted Dormitory series. Taking a huge cue from American teen horror movies, 8 mostly unlikable teens have been assembled for this night of horror carnage. On top of Xiao Xing, the host of this night of terror, we've also got Duzi and Cheng, who work in the cinema getting it ready. Cheng is also Xiao Xing's driver. There's horror movie loving Meng Qi, the thief, and her non-horror movie loving lapdog, Huai Shendou. We've got muscly body grey haired Alan and his annoying girlfriend Feo, who suspects he's cheating on her with Selena, who she also suspects leaked her naked shower photos on the internet.
就是我想多了，我看坏人了。怎么了？魂不守舍的？
Xiao Xing's dad is in a coma, so it's up to her to take responsibility for his construction business. And it's in hospital we first see the mysterious masked man. Hey, at least it's not a floating female ghost in a red dress. Oh, I forgot about her. I think now, after 10 episodes, it's great to teach you guys a Chinese word, guai, or ghost. I have no reason to teach you this word, other than I realise we're 10 episodes in and I haven't taught you any Chinese words. The horror movie night starts off on both the right and wrong foot. They all arrive in luxury, with Cheng being the driver picking them up, but they're late. Xiao Xing explains to them that the night is being funded by a movie production company who are doing this for publicity. My favourite part here is when the word propaganda is used. Surely the word publicity might have been a little more appropriate. Duzi says he smells gasoline, but Hua Sheng tells him it's just paint, since the cinema has just finished construction. This part is important to remember, the smell of gasoline. Selena goes to the ladies' room and feels the presence of a ghost, but it's nothing. Her guilt for cheating with Feo's boyfriend is playing on her mind. In a different toilet, Meng Qi is sifting through the wallet she just stole from the lockers when she hears footsteps. Mr. Awesome Smile with a gravelly voice, Qingan Ren, playing Mr. Pan, makes his first appearance here holding a butcher's knife. For some really f***ed up reason, he's decided to kill a chicken in the toilets and isn't self-aware enough to realise the optics of holding a bloody dripping knife is wrong.
我在这里杀个鸡。
杀鸡？这味道能吃吗？
Mr. Pan is the projectionist, which really makes no sense as the cinema has digital projectors and doesn't require a full-time projectionist. We learn he has a dead son. You might remember him from Ghost in Barbers as the apprentice. In fact, while we're here, let's take a moment to review the full supporting cast of this movie. Aljun Kai, who's been in every second movie we've looked at in this series so far, makes an appearance at the start as a Taoist priest. He is the fourth cast member in this movie from Ghost in Barbers. Additionally, Aaron Kwok and Chow Yun-fat make an appearance, as well as Kung Fu Panda, someone from The Hobbit, the monster from Monster Hunt, and Angry Birds. I'm sorry to disappoint you all, but it's just their pictures on the many posters that are decorated on the walls of this cinema complex. Anyway, back to the movie, and Mr. Pan has a dead son, Ah Wei. He died during the construction phase of the cinema. He was part of a team, alongside driver Chung and another guy, who dug up 8 coffins from the original site. Once dug up, strange things start to occur, but there's also a treasure, 2 jade bangles, which, as a pair, are worth a fortune. Greed killed Ah Wei, as we discover his partners didn't want to split the spoils of the sale of the bangles, and his murder was covered up. In the cinema, our 8 characters must sit in a particular arrangement. The dreaded allocated seating, the curse of any cinema goer.
规定了，必须要按照上面的座位。
麻不麻烦？我近视，不坐前面看不见。
While watching the movies, they also need to wear these white masks. At the stroke of midnight, the horror movie marathon begins. But that's not the only thing that begins. I'm not too sure what movies are showing on the screen, most likely other Film Moon productions, but I don't recognise them. Faya freaks out when a bleeding eye ghost sits next to her. She ruins the experience of the movie for everyone except Selena, who couldn't care less. At a key point in time, Xiaoxing leaves the cinema and heads to a storeroom where she opens up a container with 8 empty needle vessels. 8 people, 8 empty vessels, 8 coffins. See where we're going with this? Mr. Pan is attacked, and then a mysterious gas fills the cinema, knocking everyone out except for Xiaoxing, and the masked figure from the hospital makes another appearance in the center of our circle of victims. As if to telegraph exactly what's going on to anyone not paying attention, the screen of the cinema is showing the ritual we first see at the start of the film with the 8 coffins. Please, tell me you can see what's going on in this movie. Everyone awakes to find themselves tied to their seats. Then Xiaoxing has an announcement. She is involved in them being tied up, and now she needs them to make a sacrifice. Their blood. The person, or people, responsible for this event have demanded everyone's blood. What's confusing me here is that she has 8 vessels, but only 7 victims, meaning that surely the 8th vessel is for her blood, right? After she gets the blood, she delivers it to a room and is promptly locked inside by the masked figure. He then tells her that the blood is not enough. He actually wants their bodies so he can suppress the evil from the 8 coffins that were dug up. Ah, you get it now, right? Well, no, because it still makes no sense, and in fact it makes even less sense now. Xiaoxing escapes the room and gets to the cinema just in time to stop the masked man from attacking Du Zi. As they regroup in the foyer, under the watchful eye of the orc from Warcraft, the Angry Birds, and the banner for the Monkey King 2, really highlighting the whole 2016 timeframe this movie was shot, they realise they're trapped in the cinema. All escapes are blocked, phone signals are jammed, and the network cable unplugged. Finally, Xiaoxing reveals the truth. The cinema was built on sacred ground, a burial site that was also known as the gates to Hell City. Due to the fact the cinema was built on the site, misfortune struck, affecting anyone involved in the cinema construction project. She tells them that she received an anonymous correspondence from someone on the internet who advised he can get rid of the bad vibes in the land if she would just do as they ask. Find 8 people with the same horoscopes as the bodies dug up from the coffins, and use their blood in the corresponding coffins to allow the magic to do its trick.
挖出了8个棺材，里面 有8具腐烂的尸体，因为这里以前是个乱葬岗，我爸就没有在意。
This bit is kind of lost in the poor translation. A perfect opportunity for everyone to blame Xiaoxing goes begging as they suddenly remember there's a 9th person in the cinema, Mr. Pan. He's also in on this scheme with Xiaoxing. She and Cheng rescue Mr. Pan, who tell them of a secret back door they can escape from. As they all escape, Mr. Pan locks himself in the cinema with Xiaoxing. He's mad about the death of his son and he wants his revenge on Xiaoxing and her father. After she escapes his rather weak attempt at hurting her, he then somehow plunges to his death. Game over, Mr. Pan. Game over.
Game over.
At this point, we're led to believe the story is over, that it was Mr. Pan. But have you noticed I haven't provided the explanation yet? Well, that's because he wasn't the real mastermind of what was going on. Fast forward a month, and Xiaoxing is having a heart-to-heart with her now out of his coma dad, who tells her that Cheng is a person of interest. He was the one who organised the original project to dig out the coffins. Father tells Xiaoxing about the 2 missing diggers. One is Mr. Pan's son, and the other is the guy we saw kill him, Ah-Hei. His missing body was never recovered, and a rotting corpse near the site was assumed to be him. Our characters, alongside a host of other extras and film crew, assemble back in the cinema for the proper grand opening of the cinema. Duzi, who seems to be part bloodhound, reports that he can smell gasoline again, and this time it can't be the smell of the paint as the renovations have been completed for a while. And this time he's right. Xiaoxing catches Cheng in the act as he's about to spread the gasoline all over the stock of bottled water. Cheng snaps, telling her that ghosts want to kill them and tries to attack Xiaoxing, but she escapes. Cheng has managed to knock everyone in the cinema out using some poison on their 3D glasses, and then confesses to Xiaoxing that he is the mastermind. But she picks a hole in his story. How could he be the masked man when everyone was present in the cinema? Well, at the start of the film, Cheng killed another cinema worker called Yong. He kept his body and used it to swap places when she was taking the blood from everyone. It's so far-fetched that she was unable to realise it was a dead body when she took his blood. But hey, this is a movie. Yes, Cheng was the mastermind of this whole scheme, and he was frightened about evil spirits that he had unleashed by digging up the 8 coffins, and was hoping that performing this ritual would get rid of the evil following him. But then we get to another explanation, and this one explains the red dress ghost that we hardly saw in the movie. It seems that Ah-Hei, the guy who killed Mr. Pan's son at the gravesite, faked his death by planting his ID on a dead body, and has been going after Cheng as revenge. Revenge for what? Well, he wants the other jade bangle so he can sell them both for a fortune, and thinks that Cheng has taken it. And he uses his girlfriend to dress up as the ghost to scare him. This girl here, that's the girlfriend, and that's the ghost. Oh, and some good news. Apparently Mr. Pan had a continue up his sleeve because he's still alive. No game over for him. I said this movie was fun and I stand by my claim at the start. But then I watch a lot of these crappy horror movies, so when one of them does something different, I tend to pay it more attention. I like this because there's no face-off reveal, and I honestly didn't pick the ending until it occurred. I was still expecting the face-off, and since it didn't happen, I ended up enjoying it. I also loved looking at all the movie posters in the background, thinking to myself, I could be watching one of these movies instead.
母亲，
谢谢啊，还没恭喜你呢，张经理。
Now I need to watch the first Haunted Cinema, because while they aren't related at all, the first one does star Abby Yin and isn't directed by Shilei Lu. That's Haunted Cinema 2, done and dusted. We're coming close to the end of an exciting journey, as there's only 2 more Shilei Lu movies left to look at, Who's Crying at Midnight and White Paper Girl, but we will save them for later episodes. Subscribe to ensure you get an alert when it comes out. Thanks for watching.